Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. It is obviously Memorial Day. I'm filming this on May 26th. This is a day about remembering all the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice, went overseas, defended the United States of America, and never made it home alive. It's a very important day, and it's one day out of the year, and really we should do it much more often, and I hope we all do it more often, but where we take some time out of our day to remember their memories, we remember their names, we remember their stories, because as long as we keep their names alive, their memories will never be forgotten, which is the bare minimum we can give people who paid the ultimate price for this country. So I have 6 heroes, 6 American heroes we're gonna go over today for Memorial Day, the stories that I think every American needs to know. Before we get into that, please make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell so you always know when a new video is coming, and comment below with your thoughts on Memorial Day, and if there's anyone you want remembered today, let us know in the comments, put their name down there, and then that way we are always able to look back and they are never forgotten from the history books. Now, let's get into it. The first hero we're remembering and honoring on Memorial Day is former Delta Force operator Joshua Wheeler. Joshua Wheeler was a standout American, loved by his teammates, and he was killed in a 2015 hostage rescue mission against ISIS, the same mission that Thomas Paine won, or earned the Medal of Honor, I should say, not won, earned the Medal of Honor. Accounts vary on exactly what happened when Joshua Wheeler was killed. He was coming through a doorway, some kind of threshold, when the assault on the compound stalled. And according to reports, his last words were some variation of "on me," as he then led the charge to take out the ISIS terrorists and rescue a total of, I believe, around 70 hostages. This rescue operation was done in Iraq, and he paid the ultimate price, but showed incredible courage, just incredible bravery. Joshua Wheeler is a great reminder of what it means to be an American. I've interviewed several of Josh's old teammates. They all say the exact same thing about him. And right now, I'd like to roll a clip from one of the former unit officers speaking about the impact Joshua Wheeler had. Let's play that right now.
Do you mind saying what your memories of him was and what kind of man he was?
So I knew Josh when he was a young Ranger. And there are some of these guys that are just larger than life, right? Like, you know, a lot of the Delta guys are larger than life. Some of them are the ultimate gray man. I mean, Josh was one of those guys that was just larger than life. Like he did it a little bit better than everyone else. And he did it a little bit louder than everyone else. You know what I mean? It's like, but not loud, like ego. He was just always having fun. Like he'd be laughing going through the shoot house. You know what I mean? He's laughing on target. I mean, I can almost guarantee you, I wasn't there. He was A squadron, same squadron that I was with. I wasn't there, but I can guarantee you there was laughter within somewhere happening in the middle of this, where Josh going, "Can you believe this?" You know what I mean? Like, let's get this, Yeah, that one hurt a lot of guys. And I think a lot of guys are still emotionally and spiritually hurt over that one. There was never a moment that he just wasn't ready for the fight. That era of those guys, they called them 9/11 babies. So when 9/11 started for 20 years, from 2001 and 2021, they were fighting, and so those guys are starting to retire. And pray for peace, pray for shalom for these guys, pray for peace for a guy like Pat Payne. Carrying that Medal of Honor around your neck, that is a heavy, heavy lift.
The next heroes we're going to remember for Memorial Day are 2 men that died side by side fighting during the Battle of Mogadishu, and that, of course, is Gary Gordon and Randy Shughart, both of whom were Delta Force snipers who inserted into one of the crash sites, saving Mike Durant's life, and fighting until the bitter and brutal and bloody end to do as much as they could in what could only be described as, I can't even say the word on YouTube, but they knew that they were not coming back from that. They knew when that helicopter touched down and put them into the fight that they would be sacrificing their lives to save their fellow teammates. And yet they went without hesitation. They went without a second thought, and they actually requested permission multiple times to insert into the crash site before they were finally granted permission to go in. And it was made very clear to them that there was no way that they could be rescued. There was no way to go get them. And yet they went anyways. And that is America at its finest. That is America at its best. And we will never forget the sacrifices of Gary Gordon and Randy Shughart on October 3rd, 1993, in the Battle of Mogadishu. Their memories will never be forgotten. The next hero we're going to remember is Connie Guilfoyle. Now, Connie Guilfoyle is a family member of mine who earned 2 Distinguished Flying Crosses and multiple air medals during World War II in the aftermath of D-Day. At the time, he served as a navigator on a bomber crew. At one point, his bomber was shot down during a mission, I believe, over Austria. They were able to escape. They were never taken POW. Connie then returned to the Midwest, where he pursued becoming a lawyer when the Korean War eventually started. Connie returned to service on a bomber crew again and was shot down and never seen alive, presumed dead in 1952. Connie, by all accounts, obviously was gone long before I was ever alive, but multiple family members who knew him, my grandmother, my great aunts, nothing but the highest praise imaginable for Connie. By all accounts, just a hilarious guy, incredibly intelligent. He died at the age of 30 after having fought in the world's largest war ever in the past 100 years, as well as then returning for a brutally violent conflict in Korea. He spent most of his adult life at war. It's crazy to me. He's younger than I am now when he was killed, having fought in 2 wars. He didn't need to go to Korea. He chose to go to Korea, thought it was the best thing to do, thought his skills and experience could help save lives, help America get the job done, and he died in North Korea after being shot down on a bombing run. A legendary figure in my family, a great American, and we will never forget Connie Guilfoyle and the sacrifices he made for this country. The next American hero we're going to honor is John Chapman. Now, if you are watching this channel, if you're familiar with my work, if you're familiar with my interviews, the name John Chapman is very familiar to you. John Chapman was killed March of 2002 during the Battle of Tucker Gar during Operation Anaconda. He was a member of the Air Force's elite Tier 1 unit, the 24th STS, where he served as a combat controller. Upon insertion on a mountaintop to get a fallen Navy SEAL by the name of Neil Roberts, who fell out of the back of a helicopter that had come under attack, they encountered heavy fire. Chapman and the team, the SEAL team he was attached to, encountered heavy fire, and the SEALs retreated down the mountain, leaving John Chapman in a one-man stand for his life. John Chapman not only saved the lives of the Navy SEALs who retreated down the mountain, but also the lives of many of the people on the QRF team as he fought through gunshot wounds, shrapnel wounds. I believe he was hit as many as 16 times and never quit. He kept fighting by himself, all alone, taking the fight to the enemy. And I know there's a lot of controversy about what the SEALs did. There's a lot of controversy about the Medal of Honor situation. Today is not about that. That means nothing today. Today is about honoring those who never made it home. And John Chapman gave his life in the first ever recorded Medal of Honor recipient, first ever recorded actions. And what he did on that mountaintop during the Battle of Tucker Gar is one of the greatest, most heroic things you will ever see. So everything else aside, all the controversy, all the distractions, all that aside, he was an American hero and he is dearly missed. And what he did, we will never forget. Thank you, John Chapman, for your sacrifice. The final hero we're remembering on Memorial Day for the 6 people every American needs to know is Bob Horrigan. Bob Horrigan was killed in Iraq on June 17th, 2005 on a raid on what was believed and what was a foreign network terrorist stronghold. He was also killed along with Mike McNulty when they breached one of the buildings. Bob Horrigan was a unit operator for most of his career and was widely and heavily respected by all of his teammates. I've interviewed multiple teammates of Bob Horrigan, and you will not find a man who gets more praise than he does. And one of the saddest parts of the entire situation is he was getting incredibly close to retirement at the time he was killed on that highly risky, highly dangerous raid in Iraq in 2005. Again, that also claimed the life of fellow Delta Force operator Mike McNulty. Bob was a hell of an American. He was a great person by all accounts. I obviously never met Bob, but from what his teammates say, you just could not find a better guy. And he laid his life down for this country on a high risk, high value target mission, and the bravery for them to go hit that wall. And I will say this, there's been a lot of talk about that night, a lot of talk about that mission on June 17, 2005. As far as I know, there's only one actual public account of it out there that explains exactly what happens. Not for me, not my story to tell. Obviously, I was not there. But we will remember Bob Horrigan. We will remember the sacrifice of him and as well as Mike McNulty on that night. I know that death left a huge hole for a lot of his teammates. And that was almost 20 years ago. It'll be 20 years ago this summer that happened. So we will never forget Bob. We will never forget the sacrifice he made for this country. And we will keep his memory alive. So those are the 6 heroes everyone needs to know for Memorial Day. I hope you guys take some time today to reflect and think about all the people that laid down their lives for this country. They are great Americans. They answered the call. They did their duty and they never made it back. And it's our obligation as Americans to make sure we carry on their legacy and memory. It's the least we can do. Also, don't feel bad about taking a day off, spending time with family and friends. Trust me, if these people were here, they'd be doing the exact same thing. It is important to remember them. It is important to think about them, but you can also take time today to have a great time. That's what America's all about. That's why this country is worth protecting, worth defending. I hope you guys learned a little something with this video. If you have a name of someone you want remembered, please comment below. We will keep that person's memory alive. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you always know when there's a new video. And as always, I'll catch you all next time.